What's going on, y'all? Welcome to episode 12 of the Out of Bounds podcast. As you guys can see, the Big Three is back in full effect once again this week. I go by the name of Ladale, the fashionista, manager editor, True Culture Magazine, the OG, and the James Harder of this Big Three. And introducing right now the man in the middle, Mr. Donovan. Don't call me Donovan, Donnie Wilkins. And last but certainly not least, he's back once again, Mr. Third Eye, Mr. Euro Step to your girl. You guys, y'all see he got the fresh twist in. Our guy, Kyrie Irving, a.k.a. D. Noel Austin. What's going on, fellas? How you feeling?
I'm trying good, fresh, rejuvenated, busy.
Ready to get into these topics today that's been trending on Twitter.
Yeah, man. But first off, before we get into that, I just want to get those thoughts on his Atlanta Hawks. Like, how you feel about the season? You came very close. Came very close to getting that prediction right. But, bro, how you feel overall about the season? Are you optimistic for the future?
Overall, I think that Atlanta, like I said before in many episodes, this is like a foundation season. A lot of people really didn't think we would even go to the Eastern Conference Finals, let alone leave the first round of the playoffs. So I think it just shows what to work on. Obviously, for me, there's a lot of players for me that I see that gotta go. I know there's some players that gotta get more consistent. And I know I've seen, some them trying to tweak some things. So I think the season was a success just because when you underestimate, I guess, yourself, we're not going to go that far. And then you go that far. We didn't think we would get this far. So now what? I've always said, I've had this conversation in the barbershops with my friends. You already know the Hawks, they need a number two guy. They need a number two guy for Trae Young. They don't have it. It's just Trae Young right now. Cam Reddish for sure is almost there. I think Cam Reddish, he broke the record for the most threes off the bench for the Hawks. But they don't have a designated number two guy to go with Trae Young.
I mean, do you think Cam could be that guy though? Because I recall hearing Nate McMillan say that he thinks that Cam Reddish could be the next Paul George.
We got to see it. I think that's the thing. These rookies and these 2-year, 3-year, 4-year guys. There's some guys that still need time to develop. Like I said, Lonzo Ball, he's still kind of developing, but he kind of is finding his lane and kind of rolling with it. Same with Cam Reddish, just has to do the same thing now. He has to find his lane and if he wants to be a Paul George type forward or does he want to be a point forward? He's still trying to find that. And then coming off an injury as well. Cam Reddish can be the number two guy, but I feel if they get a DeMar DeRozan, Bradley Beal, just a number two guy to help get the weight off of this Trae Young's shoulders. I feel right now, if Trae Young is not playing or if Trae Young is not having a good game, it's most likely can look like a loss, but we don't know because we don't know will Lou Will actually drop 26 or will he drop 6? Will Kevin Huerter show up or he not? The bench is really inconsistent in my opinion. You just don't know. You just don't know if Trae Young goes down. Can we trust that the bench can give us anything? The Bucks have a bench that can give them. That's the reason why they won the series. Giannis goes down. Chris Middleton steps up, drops 38 points. Also, you have Drew Holiday, who's still a bucket and has it bad. So it's that's what I was looking at. And the Hawks just don't have a bench that right now they don't have a bench that can come out and help them, help Trae Young. So to me, that's what it looks like. So when they get a bench and a number two guy, you can see the Hawks in the finals.
Oh, in the finals?
Yeah.
So they're going to skip over Brooklyn. They're going to skip over Milwaukee. They're going to skip over Philly. Actually, speaking of Philly, who do you think has a brighter future, the Philadelphia 76ers or the Atlanta Hawks?
Oh, the Hawks.
And do not be biased. No.
I'm not biased. I'm literally not biased. The Hawks have a brighter future.
You know that's cap and everybody.
That's not cap. That is not cap. I'm for sure. The thing is, the Hawks have a bigger window to grow because everyone underestimates it. The 76ers is not because everyone thinks of y'all as the number one team and y'all failed that path. No one was looking at the Hawks to be the number one team, and we overachieved. Y'all were supposed to be the number one team and underachieved. So y'all ain't got that window. Y'all don't have that time anymore to do that. The Hawks do that.
We do. I mean, Joel Embiid is in his prime right now, 27. I mean, hopefully we get Damian Lillard, which I don't think is going to happen.
Hell
but
no. That's a fever
all we
dream.
need is an all-star caliber point guard. So, and we have shooters. So I'm.
They're talking about De'Aaron Fox getting traded for Ben Simmons.
I would love that.
A De'Aaron Fox trade would not be bad.
He just can't stay here. I know that.
Man, yeah, Ben Simmons gotta go. He gotta go. So, but yeah, the Hawks. I feel like the Hawks have a good foundation pieces, and they're learning, and they're still a young team, and they're growing. So, I'm just here to watch.
So. We'll get to our NBA Finals prediction much later in the show. And by the way, Mike and Ike, if y'all watching, please sponsor us in the future. This is a shameless plug, product placement. So sponsor us in the future.
I don't even know why you eating them right now. We're not being sponsored by them.
Exactly.
No free,
bro. I'm doing the Cameron approach. Y'all remember when Cameron did like an IG video? He had like a Pepsi, and then later he got like a endorsement with Pepsi.
But we not that.
Cameron. I was about to say you over there.
Trust me, it'll work.
Okay.
All right. But we'll get into our playoffs as far as the NBA Finals prediction much later on the show. But I want to start off this week is basically a discussion that's been just dominating the headlines in terms of like in the sports community, not only just within sports, but the black community as a whole. As the whole thing with issue with Sha'Carri Richardson, the young lady out of the University of LSU, Louisiana State University, I should say, who basically been the news lady as far as like a failed drug test in relation to her being able to run the 100 meters in the 2020 Olympics. She had Black Twitter rooting for her, and then just like last week just went all up in smokes when the Olympic committee just announced that she was basically suspended for 30 days. And she most likely will not be allowed to run during this year's Summer Olympics. As you all know, within the black community, everybody's in the uproar. There's a lot of conspiracies. People talk about shit that's fall like with Michael Phelps, where he had like his little issue where he was like swung through a bomb and all that, trying to compare the two scenarios when it's actually different if you do your research, ladies and gentlemen. But how do you guys feel in regards to the Sha'Carri Richardson suspension? Do you feel like it's justified? Let's answer that first. And then from that point forward, we'll just go into as far like how would we go about the situation if we was in charge of this?
I mean, is it justified for the ruling? I understand why they suspended her, because if the rule is we're gonna drug test you before you come to the Olympics and you knew about it,
She definitely knew.
If you knew about the drug test, this is because I know people are going to take that out of context, but this is strictly answering the question: is it justified? Is justified in the fact of if you knew about the drug test, you still had it in your system regardless, and you took the test and you failed. I get the suspension, because anywhere else, anything else that you do, if you do have a drug test for a job, athletic stuff, whatever, you're going to get a suspension or fired if you fail a drug test. So is a suspension valid? Yes. Should the rule change? That's another conversation. But to answer that question, yes, the suspension, that's in the rule book. Your hands are tied out. You don't know what to do with that.
Yeah, man, I find it funny. Basically, the fact that she accepts the punishment, she accepts the ruling, but you still have Black Twitter basically capping for her, saying that like the Olympics they should allow her to race. Like this is some BS. But before I get any further than that, Donnie, what's your thoughts on this?
Let me first start by saying this, because we live in America, and America seems to think they're the center of the universe.
So America said that they're the center of the universe.
Yeah, the United States laws on marijuana is different. How China or Japan or Tokyo or Australia, how they view marijuana. So this is not a United States rule. This is the Olympics. in international competition, the Olympics overrides everything. Just going to clarify that because I'm looking at Twitter and they're like, but you're able to smoke legally. I forget what state she was in, but she was legally able
Oregon.
to.
I think she was in Oregon or Washington or whatever.
Yeah, so you're able to like smoke weed legally there. But that's not what they're taking into account. This is the Olympics. That's a different story.
Continue.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that just a little what you were saying was right because I was actually talking to someone like Japan, even in Tokyo, Japan, they have a strict weed law. Like they do not allow anything. Like they literally are super strict when it comes to weed. So for me, like when you said it's like an international ruling, I don't think people understood like, well, she smoked it in Oregon, that's fine. But if you're coming to Japan and their ruling is like we can't have anyone, passing drug tests like that, then that's just the rule. And you're going to Japan, a country that has really strict marijuana laws. So it's like,
it was the topic of an episode for Dave Little Dickie's recent season where he was teaming up with a K-pop artist, and there was like a whole controversy about her taking a picture with a guy who was holding a joint or something like that. So yes, they do take stuff like that seriously. America's not the center of the world. Newsflash, dumbasses. But
damn.
Shit.
Shit.
I was holding it in. I was like,
activate.
Yeah. He's a doctor in the Dream Chasers. No, they see the guy hacking.
We can hit that. Yeah, we can hit. Hey man.
It was So and back to the Olympics. Yes, they were 100% in the right, and I love that President Biden supported the Olympics decision and said rules are rules. Now, like Noel said, whether marijuana is a performance enhancing or whatever it is, that's a whole different story, and that's a whole different
marijuana isn't performance enhancing. The fact that she beat
it's not, but they classified it
with smoker lungs. Wild, like she's already goated in my book. Like the fact that you smoke weed, and that if anything, that would hurt her chances of winning, and she still beat these women. Oh, she goated. Like there's no question.
Yeah.
And another thing, so not that
was the case in Chef World. Yeah.
And another thing, so not that we are like, who are we to judge? But do you guys say that this because she basically used the excuse as far like her mother's passing? And by the way, my condolences. My condolences to you, Sha'Carri Richardson, on the loss of your mother. Like I cannot imagine going through anything like that. But you guys buy the excuse because to me, like she looks like a long-term smoker. Like, that does not look like
absolutely
not. That's prejudice. You can't say that. No,
I mean, it's the truth. Like she looks like the type.
I don't buy that.
What does the type look like, Ladale? Oh no,
her lips are black, bro. That's a sign right there.
Is it because she's a black woman with long nails and colorful hair that you're just gonna assume?
No, it's not that. It's not that because FloJo had long nails and long hair and all that, so it's not that. But she looks like a stoner. Ain't nothing wrong with that, by the way. Like, live your truth. But I just thought that was just, like I said, who am I to judge? But I just thought that was capped, that part.
That makes sense. But no, I think your question about is it like what'd you say? You're saying like, is it like do I understand?
Do you guys buy that? Like, do you guys buy that excuse for like?
Do you buy it?
Use like a mother passing for that?
Yeah, I buy it just because like, I mean, I've smoked weed before, but it's just like I get why because everyone has their vices. Like if someone's parent died or someone that was close to them died and they had alcohol and they got drunk, what's to say that's not the same thing as smoking weed? If what's this like? If that's someone's vice to cope with something, yeah. As long as it's not like crack or like any like real deal hardcore stuff. Yeah. But if it's like alcohol, some people have alcohol as a vice. Some people use weed as a vice. Her being like, "Hey, I was going through something. My mom died, and I had to smoke because I need to feel something or whatever." I buy that because a lot of people have vices. So, yeah, and if you're in a state where it's legal, yeah, you're going to do that. So it's just like, yeah, I buy it.
Another thing too, it says here in the article that she completed a counseling program regarding her use of cannabis, which under the USADA rules knock her eligibility down to 1 month. So it just seems like the whole counseling thing over the use of marijuana, that's kind of seems like a stress to me. But at the same time, like I get it. Like she wants to basically get back in her sport, so she got to just take, I guess, any precautions necessary to speed up the process, accelerate the process in this. But I don't know, just I understand, like, okay, like, yeah, like, that is a vice. Obviously, like, it's a coping mechanism. I'm not down that, like, that's could possibly be a reason. I'm just saying, like, I don't think, like, that was, like, her first time. Oh, my God, like, my mom passed. I see this weed here. That I'm going to just smoke this for the first time.
I don't
That's all I'm
even
saying.
buy the excuse to begin with. Like Noel said, everybody copes differently with death. So my viewpoint on family values and closeness and stuff like that may be skewed. But I will say this: you've been training for the Olympics for how long? Since you could probably walk, or since you've been interested in track and field and stuff like that. You have 1 month left to go before the biggest race of your career. You are hit with an untimely death in the family. Wouldn't it be better to honor your mother by
Winning.
going
I
to
know.
Tokyo and winning?
I mean,
And
okay,
maybe that's a little harsh, but
it's one of
you're
those
20.
things. It's one of those things to where it's like, as the old saying is, you can't tell someone how to grieve. Like
Yeah, exactly.
being someone that has lost loved ones in times. Like I remember, I had to go play in the state playoffs for lacrosse, and I had someone die. I couldn't just not go. Like I had to go, But people grieve differently. I was able to play and win and be like and grieve later, but some people can't do that. Some people aren't like me. And so I think to say that in the sense of like, it kind of sounds like, oh, if I was in that situation, this is how I would do it. But it's for her, that just may be her thing. And, like she's going to counseling for it. Then her going to counseling, she's realizing that, okay, I depend on this a lot. Let me try to fix that. So when I hear that, I hear that she's trying to break out of using it, but she just used it because that's her vice. And that's perfectly
Was it
fine.
edible or did she smoke? I'm
I
not
know
sure if that was.
I think she
I
smoked
think it
weed.
was an
There's
edible.
no real difference.
Yeah, but how about this? Like, how do you guys feel about the lack of accountability within the black community? Because anybody like just advocating for her, so, like saying that the Olympics should just let her race regardless, like be sympathetic to the fact of her mom's passing, rather than just say like, "Yo, like, sure, like you fucked up here, like this is not a good look, not only for yourself, but like us as a whole, as a people." You know what I'm saying? Like,
I
how you guys
mean,
feel about that?
what
The
else?
lack of accountability within
What
the black
else is
community.
new in the black
Oof.
community, especially on
Oof.
Twitter? Yeah, I'm gonna go there.
This is
They
Black
out
love
of
to
Twitter.
play the
bounds. This
victim.
is
Get
out of
on them.
bounds. We go there.
Get
Like,
on them.
there's no
Yeah,
limits.
I'm just
Keep
gonna.
going.
They love to play the victim, and they're always, especially in this
You know you
day and
part of the day
age, in
though,
this
right?
generation.
You are part of the day. Like don't
Yeah.
separate yourself from the day now.
I
You
told you I'm a
said
different
day like
breed.
Hey man, see man.
you sound like Rachel Nichols right now talking
You
about day.
really
No,
do.
but
You
the
really
way
do,
I'm saying it is,
like Rachel Nichols.
before I judge somebody, I look at all sides. That's not something the majority of the black community love to do. They love to look for the racist
The
angle
race
or
angle, yeah.
the prejudice angle, or this is not one of those cases. She broke an international rule and she has to pay the consequences. Simple as that. There's no, oh, the white man is trying to get her, or the collapse of society, or the solar system is conspiring against all black. I get that. I get that. And it may be that angle that I'm pretty sure Noel will touch on pretty soon.
And
But it's just as clear cut as papers. You broke an international rule, you have to pay the consequence. Simple as that.
I think where race comes into it, from what I've read, I think when race comes into it, I think for black people is because it's it's a double, as on Twitter, it's a double standard for me. And it and a double standard in the sense of like, I think people have tried to equate to the Michael Phelps situation, which the Michael Phelps situation was totally, like Ladale said, two different situations. But I think there was like some infograph saying like this one white girl who ran track like tested positive for steroids and like they allowed her to like keep running or something to that effect. Like there was no harsh like really like nationwide news coverage that this girl got failed the drug test because she had steroids, like enhancing drugs. But her smoking weed is like amplified, which that angle I understand it because it's just like, well, it's a black girl that has colorful hair and long nails and she's confident in herself, like, and you're
And
just gonna
tattoos, so she looks like
tattoo. Like she's unapologetically herself, and that's why people love her because you don't see a lot of black women like FloJo. Ever since FloJo passing, you haven't really seen a girl like that runs track that is as unique as her. And so for her to see that and to black women be like, yo, we have another one and she's doing her thing, and then I guess it's the scope of like finding that one thing to tear her down. You know what I'm saying? Like granted, she made a mistake. Granted, you shouldn't have smoked weed at drug test. Cool, whatever. She accepted consequences. But I think what people are upset about, like the magnitude as to like it was on CNN, it was on Good Morning America, like it was literally everywhere. And like the white girl on Team USA tested positive for like steroids, and nobody heard about it. So I think it's the aspect of tearing down a strong black woman figure. I think that's where race really kind of comes into it. But letting her race, like you said, like she broke international rule. Like, she didn't even fight it. She accepted it. She's like, okay, you know what? I messed up.
And that's what I like. It
is what it is.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I can respect that because you broke an international rule. Stuff, people are people. Stuff happens. I'm not perfect. People break rules off.
Yeah.
So it's just like she's accepted it. Cool. You know what I'm saying? But like, I get the angle where it comes to race coming to play because I think the girl who took her place, the white girl was like, oh, this is a sign from God because God doesn't like drugs and I don't do drugs. Like, she just made it 10 times worse. And I was just like,
I didn't see that.
I didn't see that either. But I did see something about I did see something from a journalist on Twitter that she posted say that, like, in the case of Sha'Carri, like, because of the hair and the nails, that's a sign of steroids. I'm like,
yeah, she said her long nails.
She cannot be so disconnected from black culture with that statement.
But see, listen, and then we're see, this is gonna get into the conversation of protecting black culture. That's a whole episode in itself. But it's like, but it's stuff like that when people do bring up race because even like in my, for the viewers who don't know, I'm still in college. My minor's in sociology. And we talked about racial stereotypes, and we talked about racial, like, the damage it does. And so as a black woman being uniquely herself in an area where having long nails and having colorful hair and tattoos is unprofessional in track and field, and for her to be herself and be on top of the world, and then one thing happens and now everyone can beat on her because she smoked weed, as if there's not lawyers and accountants on Wall Street doing coke like the Wolf of Wall Street. So it's just like, what are we really doing here? So I get the race angle. I think saying she should run, stretch, because like you said, she did break international rules.
Yeah, you even got some NFL, NBA athletes saying that shit, and and they know damn well they would not be doing what she did.
But the thing is,
because they know the rules and the consequences.
That's what I was saying. It was just so quick to look for that victim mentality that that's been instilled in us since slavery, and just look for that angle, and it's like, come on.
It's a crutch. It's
I think the angle they were trying to go after is trying to get rid of the stigma between marijuana and sports. I think because I've seen a lot of athletes, like I think I saw one about, I think Karl Anthony Towns said something, and somebody else was saying something about like how marijuana should be like, I guess, decriminalized or destigmatized within the world of sports. And I think I saw a lot of athletes with that angle, and I agree with that. Now, do I agree with the rule? No, I mean, if you smoke weed, if anything, like I said, that's more of a disadvantage
Right,
running track than really being an enhancement. Do I agree with the rule?
Right.
No, I do feel like the rule should change. I don't feel like weed isn't that big of a enhancement in running track. But like I said, you're going to Tokyo, you're going to Japan, where weed is really strict, and if their law is like, hey, no drugs of any kind, then it's like you really can't do nothing about that. But the rule in the committee, I feel like the rule should be overturned. I feel like weed shouldn't be as stigmatized in athletics as it is. And I saw a lot of angles like that. And I do agree with those angles. I do agree that weed shouldn't be as badly stigmatized as it has been when it comes to athletes in sports. Because honestly, a lot of athletes do use it for recovery. Like if you play in LA, after recovery, if you are super sore, some people smoke weed because
I think two retired NFL players have weed farms. I think Mike Tyson has a weed farm.
Mike Tyson?
I forget I think he has a weed farm.
You saw the boxer Mike Tyson.
Yeah, the boxer Mike Tyson.
Oh, man, it's that two NFL players that Mike Tyson.
NFL players, Mike Tyson.
And I'm pretty sure there's two NFL players.
That's not an NFL player.
Yeah, for sure, but
yeah, I think that's the angle. It's just a destigmatize marijuana. The word gets you every time. But nah, I think it should be, because I don't think weed. I think there's science of years and years of science that backs up like weed is not. If anything, alcoholism is more harmful than smoking weed. And I think we've been down that rabbit hole before.
I think it's just going to be really hard to like convince other cultures and countries about that. But yeah, there should be research done into it.
But the thing is, and people took a picture of the Olympic board, and there was not one person of color on the Olympic board. And I was like, y'all really thought.
And this is the crazy thing to me, because most of the best athletes
are black.
In the U.S. history are black. You know? Which brings me to this is like, I understand like advocating for the rules to change, but my thing is like, when are we as a people gonna sit back and realize like, like let's take a look at the field here. If you take away like because the majority of the USA Olympic basketball team is black, outside Kevin Love, like Jenna Rose, he got some heat for saying that Kevin Love is the token white boy in the team because America don't want to send all black U.S. team. But it's the truth, though.
If Luka was American, they would send Luka. If Luka was American, they would for sure send Luka. But I don't think as black people we don't understand the power we have. You know, the Hotep, but it's real because
that's what I'm getting at. You know, like we have so many dominant black athletes at home. Like if you take us out of the picture, do America win all these gold medals? Like you got your Michael Phelps, your Ryan Lochte.
The sports world would cease to exist.
But look at even with gymnastics.
The gymnastics team is fire. Even the male gymnastics team. A lot of black. There's one or two, three black dudes on the male gymnastics team for the United States that have won gold medals before. So it's just like, if all the black athletes but see, this is the thing. If a lot of black athletes were just like, you know what, we just don't feel like competing this year. How many gold medals are we winning? Like as a country, if black athletes were like, you know what, we don't feel like we're well represented. We just don't want to.
Silver at best.
And they even got more leverage in the fact that, did you guys hear about like with the water, I guess the water polo team, like how they're not gonna allow like these specific shower caps for like black women?
The swimmers.
These thick shower caps
for natural hair. For natural, because in the board who approved that again was all white, and they're like, there's no, because the caps are really big for women that have like natural afros, so when they put it on, it's bigger than a normal cap, and they're what they were saying was that nobody's head is that big. That's why they said no. Why do they need that? Nobody's head is that big. But it's like, no, if you know anyone with natural hair, you have a lot of hair. There's shrinkage, but you have a lot of hair. So to get a swim cap on, like I swim, you know, so to have a swim cap on, it's not meant for black people.
That's even trying to put an ad on. Yeah, it's
like all I can say is like swim caps is not for black people. Like because you put it on and it's like it's too small, bro. Like, you lose the circulation of it. Nah. So yeah, I think there's some problems we have. I think as black athletes, we have to get to a point where it's like, yo, money isn't everything. It's like, yo, are we even respected? You know, because if every black athlete was like, you know, we're just not going to compete this year, just to see what would happen. Who's America sitting for basketball? And the thing is, the new skateboarding team, the team captain Nigel Houston is black. Nigel Houston is black, and he's the captain for the skateboarding team for America. So who do you send? Who do you send if all these black athletes just say, no, we're not gonna do it this year?
And there's strength in numbers. And I think that I wish we realized that at this point, rather than like begging, like saying like, yo, like just let her race. Like, how about everybody just say, you know what, at this, like, we're just not going to participate.
I mean, I'm surprised. I mean, I'm not surprised because I think everybody's viewpoint is different and everyone has a different perspective. But like again, back in the day, like even now, I forgot what Olympic Games was, but when they did the Black Power Fist and they got their medals taken away, I forgot who it was.
I know exactly who you're talking about. I forgot the year, but I know it's like the two black dudes like that, like the.
It was like 1968 Olympic. It was one of those.
It was definitely during like the civil rights era.
It was, yeah, and I think nobody would have the courage to do that now. Because everyone's too worried about their image. I think everyone's too worried about of self, of like, okay, how is this gonna affect me? Am I gonna get paid anymore? Like those dudes got their gold medals stripped away from them. Like they took those away. Like they're like, you can't have these numbers. So it's just like, what is it gonna be?
In the long run, we recognize them, like we know that symbol. So it's like, yeah.
So I'm gonna be surprised, like if there's a black woman that wins. Like I feel like if you're going to go, make a statement. If you're gonna go and represent America, make a statement. I think one girl who does shot put, I think she got like second place, but she just got the national anthem played. She didn't do nothing. She just stood there. She did. So it's like, if you're going to go, what are you going to do? That's my whole thing. Like, if you're going to go, are you going to make a statement? You know what I'm saying? Because like Ladale said, you take away all the black athletes, what has America got? We probably win swimming. That's about, maybe
volleyball.
Maybe beach volleyball.
Definitely soccer.
True. But I mean, take away the people of color. You have to say take away the people of color on the American team.
Oh yeah, for sure. You're definitely not winning gymnastics. You're not winning track and field. You're not winning basketball. For sure.
So it's just like, hey man, America gonna figure it out. But
I agree with that stance. So basically, like, if you are gonna go, if you do not want to stand support of Sha'Carri Richardson, by the way, I'm all for the suspension. Like, she broke the rule, and I'm a firm believer that, although I do believe that rule should change, I don't think it should be for this year. Because that'll just set like a bad precedent as far as like, hey, like if you complain long enough, then you're gonna get your way. I feel like this is something that should basically be reviewed within like what, the 2024 Olympics?
I mean,
2024.
They got 4 years to present.
I mean, they got a Winter Olympics. Be like, hey,
do people really care about the Winter Olympics though?
I mean, that's the only Olympics that black people can say we're not going, and they okay with that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, who snowboarded? Like, who snowboarded? Who skied?
Who's ice skating? Like, who's doing
I mean, no, there's a black figure skater. I think she was good. So I think, maybe her. But outside of that,
the last figure skater I remember, outside of Michelle Kwan, I don't know no figure skaters.
Damn.
I
know that's kind of like before y'all time, but that's like the only figure skater.
I mean, I've heard of her. There's a few, but I know Shaun White, who I believe retired. There's a female, I believe she's Asian, a female Asian, Michelle Cho, I think, and she's a skier or something like that.
I thought you were gonna say Michelle. I'm about to say, nigga, I just said that name, but no, man. All right, well, let's move on to some controversy within black sports media, and that's in relation to the controversy surrounding Rachel Nichols' comments. You know, mind you, it was a private conversation, and the audio was leaked towards that. But how do you guys feel in regards to, like, first of all, before we get into the full topic, how do you guys feel about diversity hires as a whole? Like, would you feel disrespected if your employer came out and said, "Oh, like you were a diversity hire"? Now, granted, true culture there would never be that problem because this is a black-owned
Exactly.
company. Like outside of that, like how do you guys feel about being known as a diversity hire?
I mean, it's one of those things to where it's like a double-edged sword, because for me, going to an all-white high school, when I would get accepted to these schools, affirmative action, that's what we learned about. They always would say, "Oh, it's only affirmative action. You only got in because you're black." Like, I got accepted to Temple, UCLA. I think the reason why my ACT and SAT scores were okay, but it was just like my papers, what I did, like extracurricular stuff. That's why. And so they would always say, "Oh, it's because you're black." Because so that it's giving me affirmative action as a diversity hire. But it's like, what are you doing with that? If you get hired at Viacom as a diversity hire, what are you doing there? Because you already know people gonna talk shit. So it's a weird situation to be in. I would rather just not know. I would much rather just not know, like, whatever it is, because I'm gonna do my job regardless.
David, what are your thoughts on that before we get into Rachel Nichols' comments?
I kind of see both sides. The one side is I don't like diversity hiring. I think it should just go to the person who has the best suited skills for that role or whatever, regardless of age, gender, or race, or none of that. But I also see the other side. I think having diversity hiring could benefit a lot of people who would normally get overlooked. And at the end of the day, once you get that job, it's up to you to keep the job and perform.
I think diversity hires. I feel like when you just said, where it was just like, oh well, whoever's best qualified for the job, gets the job. But that's subjective. Like, you have to understand, like, people that employ people, if there was no diversity quota or whatever, do you really think they would hire as many people of color, black people, as they do? I mean, but that's a real question, because everyone says, well, if you're good for the job, well, that sounds amazing on paper, but we don't like, America's supposed to be the land of the free. You can do whatever you want, home and brave. We still got racism, still got Jim Crow era laws in certain states. Like, of course, on paper, this stuff sounds amazing, but what is the reality? If we go with that sense of whoever's most qualified, okay, how many people of color are really going to be hired? If we do go by that metric, which I believe, if you're good for the job, man, woman, race, creed, for sure, you should get the job. But in reality, is that really going to happen? That's my own question.
That was the second part of my answer. I was like, but yeah, at the end of the day, once you do get that diversity hire, it's up to you to perform and show them that you belong there, regardless of your race.
I agree. I just think it's just human nature to go with what you're familiar with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like being like in a school that's like, let's say, because I grew up in New York City in the South Bronx, and that's like my area is like predominantly like Latino and black, right? But I also went to school. You had like Latino kids, black kids, Asian kids, and it almost seemed like it's human nature just always associate with the group that you're most comfortable with. You know what I mean? I feel like what I would like to see more of, and granted, like people like Tyler Perry are doing it right now, is like more black people empowered to just come aboard, and like kind of like like just open the door, for like more of their community of people, rather than us saying like, hey, like it's a hero with Maria Taylor at ESPN, where you got Rachel Nichols basically calling out saying that, oh, like it was a diversity hire. Like, we need like our own predominantly black sports media. You know what I mean? Because
that's what BET is supposed to be. Like, I think that's what BET is like supposed to be. I'm not bashing BET.
I was about to say, isn't that what BET is? Black entertainment.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not bashing BET.
BET is not even owned by black people no more.
It's owned by Viacom now. Like, it used to be, but it's owned by the Viacom conglomerate now, so it's not really black owned anymore. But that's what BET and TV One and those stations were supposed to be. But I feel like they came out at the wrong time, because I feel like if BET really tried to rebrand itself now, more than ever, it would have a better chance.
No,
do they have a sports division?
I have to disagree with that. I think BET came around at the perfect time, because they came out during a time when like MTV was not because back when MTV mostly posted the music videos, they were not playing black artists. So they came around.
Yeah, you're right.
So
yeah.
they
And
did
then
come around. Yeah.
I got you. Okay, because like 1 in 60. Yeah. You're right. Yeah, that's my young age coming out.
You see, this is why you got the old head here. The old head here
coming out, guys.
to set things
I'm
right.
sorry, I apologize, but no, for sure. I think that's what BET's supposed to be. And I feel like now, why isn't there an all black sports network? But I mean, ESPN is owned by Disney, and you know how those Disney checks are. You know how the ESPN checks are. I mean,
but also then again, the internet it made it so that you technically could have plenty of black-owned sports media networks, especially on YouTube.
Right, like
but it has to be,
that might have been a good excuse a couple of years ago, like 2 decades ago. But now, if you take away Viacom, they have more than enough power to create their own 24-hour black sports. I mean, you partner up with LeBron James and a couple of other predominantly black leaders in their sports.
LeBron was really about it. When he retires, if he's really about
it,
yeah. LeBron ain't
I'm not gonna lie to
shit.
you. If LeBron really about it and he retires, that has to be the next Rensu. Like he already has a production company, right? Team up with BET. Yeah. There you go. Have it on TikTok, go live, whatever. He has production, he has sets. Yes, I think that you bring up LeBron, that makes a lot of sense.
Shout out LeBron. If you need like reporters and CEO, hit us up. We got you.
Oh, for sure. If you need anybody, LeBron, hit us up. You know what I'm saying?
LeBron, I don't really fuck with you like that. I ain't gonna pretend that I do.
How don't you fuck with
me? But hit up Donnie and Noel. Hit them up.
Wow, bro. Wow. I already go with me and Donovan said some heartfelt, yeah, LeBron, we respect you. Yeah, we need that. But they're like, I don't even vote with that nigga, you know what I'm saying?
I can't be phony, bro. I can't be phony, but like
that's old head pride. That's that old head pride. He's like,
I'm in support of y'all though. I'm definitely in support of y'all. But let's get into the comments that Rachel Nichols, because I have my own thoughts on this. And basically, this is the most important excerpt from that video, which Rachel Nichols, and I quote, said, "I wish Maria Taylor all the success in the world. She covers football. She covers basketball." Nichols said July 2020. "If you need to give her more things to do because you are feeling pressure about your crappy long-time record on diversity," which, by the way, I know personally from the female side of it, like, go for it. "Just find it somewhere else. You are not going to find it from me or taking my thing away." Now, after hearing those quotes, that excerpt, like, how do you guys feel about Rachel Nichols' comments?
I'm scared.
It definitely could have been worded a little bit better. But I get what she's getting at, but it just came off completely wrong.
Nah, I don't get it. I mean, it just sounds like she's scared. It just like she's scared she'll lose her job to someone more qualified to do her job. Like that's all that really sounds like.
It's definitely well, talk about. I cannot say that Maria Taylor is more qualified because Rachel Nichols, she's been in the game for like almost 2 decades.
She's a staple.
Yeah, I look at it as Rachel Nichols like being like a woman that's on the older side. She's 47 years old, so she's approaching her 50s. And Maria, she's like,
hold on, she still looks good though. She was just trending a couple of days ago. Rachel Nichols. Am I in the majority? You know what?
I'll take Maria Taylor
because I like redheads.
It's not even about looks.
I'll take Maria Taylor as well, but.
Hey, thank you. You know what I'm saying? This man, Donovan, out here.
It's one of those stupid things.
By the way, this is the same dude, David, that don't find Rihanna to be all of that attractive. So you have to take his thoughts with a grain of salt.
Let's talk about it.
We gotta take it with a grain of salt. Like, you're not gonna be over here like capping for Rachel Nichols.
No. Keyword. I find her attractive. She's just not my type, and I'm not her type. So
so black women.
Who's not your type?
Okay, cool.
Here we go.
It's okay. It's okay.
Hey, that's cool. You know, more for me. You know what I'm saying? I like chocolate. You feel me? So that's more for me. Have fun. You know what I'm saying? But and I like all women. I don't discriminate, but I do prefer black women. But Donovan, you have your preferences. We accept you. It's okay. You can. It's
Thank you.
okay.
That's
I
all I'm
concur.
looking for.
I concur. But in regards to her comments, I look at it as a woman that's just being territorial rather than
That's what it
being
seems like.
gracious.
I mean, it
Yeah.
seems like she's just like, but it definitely does have like that underlining allyship, but don't take my things. 'Cause I feel like a lot of people in America, a
Right,
lot of
yeah.
white Americans, they have allyship until like someone's good enough to take their job or something. Then it's like, oh, whoa, Blackie. I don't know about that
Yeah,
one.
yeah. That's why I don't get caught up when like they like the liberal. Well, I don't want to say the word liberal. Like white people like kind of like advocate for black folks because like all right, it's to I know it's to an extent, and this is basically the extent right here. This is the extent right here. Like whoa. Like you're not gonna like take away my gear. You're not gonna take away my show. My time slot on ESPN. You're not gonna take away, even though she already has my NBA playoff coverage. You know what I'm saying? Like
And
that's
Maria
basically what
Taylor's
it is.
covering the finals, I think. So it's just
Yeah,
like,
she is. But her contract runs out on July 20th if she does not resign. Because they say that right now she's looking at Stephen A. Smith money, like she want that $8 million per year type of deal. She turned down $5 million
per year.
She turned down $5 million per year because she want that Stephen A. Smith money. Now I think that was a dumb move because she does not have Stephen A. Smith's cachet at this.
I think Stephen A. Smith earned his check though. I think Stephen A. Smith earned that $8 million.
He does it every week,
and that's the key word right there, earned. I'm not looking for like the whole race angle and this and that. Even like we're coming down to Rachel Nichols. Like Rachel Nichols, she earned her spot. She paid her dues over the years.
But I think that is true. But with Rachel Nichols, my thing is like if ESPN is looking in the way of like, oh, we have Rachel Nichols, she's done her thing for a while, cool. But there's this new girl, Maria Taylor, she's doing really good, and she would probably fit really good in her spot. Like when we talk about the NBA, when we talk about sports, when we talk about trade, it's a business. If ESPN and Disney's like we want to move in the way of this woman leading the charge, it's a business.
Maybe they're looking to go younger.
Like you can't, but the thing is, you can't be mad about that because if you know if you're a producer, if you're the owner or whatever of ESPN, you're in that boardroom. It's like, hey, a lot of people enjoy Maria Taylor. You get a lot of black viewers, a lot of everybody. Everybody loves her. Why not put her at most things as possible? Okay, The Jump. Does she want to host it? You can't be mad because that's business. You really like so we bring up the business argument when it comes to people wanting trades in sports. This is business. If they decide to go in that way, they just decide to go in that way. You being like, oh, she has a lot, but don't take away my thing. Giving me really fake allyship. It's fake allyship for me, but it's the fake allyship over here for me. But yeah, I don't know. It's giving me fake like allyship. Like, oh, Black Lives Matter, but don't take my job. That's kind of what it sounds like to me.
I mean, I think that's you can say that about anybody. Like even like with us, like because granted, like, we have black folks like that advocate for like the Asian community and all the other issues, even like with the LGBTQ community and stuff like that. And this is what I also brought this up in our group chat in the Tug Fam as far like with the whole transgender thing. When this trans woman, how she basically won Miss Vegas, and she beat out like all the cisgender women. I was like, okay, like yes, like you advocate for the rights of like trans people. Like, what if it's like starts to like affect you and your lifestyle and your career? You know what I'm saying? Like this is kind of like where we're at right now with the whole Rachel Nichols and the Maria Taylor thing. Like, yeah, like she's been supporting black people for like the past couple of years, like throughout this whole like Black Lives Matter movement. But now that this movement is now affecting her career, now she's starting to sing a different tune. You know, so but I don't really see it like a racial issue. I just see it as like
is affecting her.
I just see it as more like a woman that's just territorial of her spot. Like she realized that she's getting older and she's just trying to protect her spot. That's all.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, I see both angles, but I do see like she's just territorial, but also like I said, it really does give me like fake like allyship because she's always been cool. Like every time I've seen her on The Jump, like she's been cool. She black culture, whatever. But it's like when it comes to a black woman possibly taking your job, that's where you get like I don't know. It's a shaky situation. But
But is that necessarily a bad thing though?
What?
That okay, like this is where she draws the line because for one, Maria's 13 years younger than her. You know what I mean? And we in the media game, like let's be for real, like nobody stays in their spot forever. Like look at the history of like 106 in Park. You know, like they went through hosts. Like I'm almost sure, like here, Tribal Culture. Like granted, like, I'm still technically young, but the longer this publication go, I'm not gonna be able to be at like the forefront, like the voice of everything, because like we gotta make room for the new and the young, especially want to reach a younger demographic. So I just think that this is just a woman that's just more so just, and this is common within women in the entertainment industry in the media world. Like these things happen, you know. Like this is why you have some women like that go out there and get plastic surgery, such as Holly Saunders, who's like another sports media personality, just to keep up and maintain their youthful looks and all that. Like this is why a lot of women get plastic surgery.
Situations like this happen.
Yeah, that's the truth though.
I mean, Doris Burke been, her thing, so I don't really think. I mean, it depends, but Doris
Burke is kind of like in a different lane because she does like color commentary for basketball.
Yeah, she does a commentary play-by-play situation. So.
Yeah, I think the way she went about it and what she said could be seen as either racist or her being territorial. So,
how could it be seen as racist?
Because the way, because it says like there, because you're feeling pressure about your crappy long-time record on diversity. Maybe she thinks that
this is basically a knock at ESPN though. More so,
yeah, it could be, but it also has that line of maybe they're just putting her in this position because she's black or whatever.
And that part I do disagree with because Maria said she definitely is talented. I'll give her that. Like she's great at her job. I actually think that she's one of the best.
They're
women,
both talented.
Like her, who else is out there? Roz Gould Awode, another one who's just amazingly. Not only she's beautiful, but she's talented.
Carrie Champion or Carrie Champion.
Yeah, Carrie Champion. She's kind of like she's going through like a midlife crisis to me at this point. Like she's like she dyed her hair gray, like to look like Storm and all that shit. Like when she got well past like 40 and all that.
That's fire. I gotta see
it. It's fire and all that, but like goddamn, like you wear to like you up at ESPN, so like. But that brings me back to my point that women do these type of things because they understand that as you get older, they start to phase you out. It even happens in Hollywood. And as you get older, you start going for like the sexy characters. Now you're playing like the mother or the grandma, and all that. And here in the sports media world, you go from your front and center, so now you're just doing like interview segments. Next thing you know, like you're just out of the picture. You know, it happens.
You're in and out, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the way I see it. So I could definitely see like how her comments may be deemed offensive. But I look at it as her basically like just saying to ESPN like, why do I have to suffer for you're trying to make up for like the lack of diversity from past years, and now you're trying to like basically you're affecting my bag. Like my bag should not have to suffer. That's because now you want to like catch up to the time, so to speak. That's what I basically took from that.
I hear that. I mean, I get that. I mean, the knack at ESPN for not. Just going out and hiring more black, just black reporters. So I think, I get that point too.
Yeah, that's basically the gist on that. But all right, so let's move on to like our next main topic for this week's episode, and that's the NBA Finals. Chris Paul has the opportunity to finally win a championship and shut me up.
Your arch nemesis is going to prevail.
Okay, so we're going to get right into it then. So that's your prediction. Suns in how many games?
Prediction, the third eye prediction, I say.
Your third eye is like 2-1 right now.
That's 2-1 ain't bad.
That's a good record.
I feel a winning record. You act like 2-1 is bad. I think
that's a small sample size.
I'll say Sun. I'll say because Giannis isn't back yet. I don't think so.
I was gonna say it depends on Giannis and
So if
Chris
Giannis isn't back
Middleton.
yet, I would say Suns in 5, Suns in 6, gentlemen sweep, Suns in because the Suns, unlike the Hawks, like I said, they have if Devin Booker goes down, you got Chris Paul, and then you got Cameron Payne who can drop 26 on you. You still got Cameron Johnson who will give you slight 15. You got Mikal Bridges that'll come in, get a cut. So it's like the Suns have depth. You still got DeAndre Ayton, so. I say Suns in 5 or Suns in 6. Or to be definite, I'm gonna say Suns in 6. To be a definite answer, I'll say Suns in 6.
Okay, Diamond, where do you lean?
I say Suns in 7, and mainly because the way this NBA playoffs played out, the injuries to stars, and I don't see Chris Paul or Giannis actually finishing the series. So I think it's just going to come down to
so
the
negative.
role players and bench players.
Yeah, man sounds like Eeyore. Jesus.
Oh, like this dude always got like a black cloud. Like, God damn, be positive.
Me
Shit. Be positive.
You're asking Chris Paul every chance you get, and I'm negative.
I'm consistent with it though. Like, you're just consistently negative. Like, you always got like a black cloud over somebody. Like, you even down your Philadelphia 76 before the playoffs started. He said, just because we're Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, we always find a way to fuck shit up.
And look what
happened. Y'all did.
I was right?
Because, like, you spoke life into it.
26 years. No,
you spoke life into this shit.
26 years. Philadelphia teams always know how to blue ball you. Like, that's it.
This man said blue ball. Oh, so you mean a tease? This is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Jeez.
At least y'all got a World Series. And a Super Bowl. And a Super Bowl.
A Super Bowl.
And a Super Bowl. See, y'all niggas ain't grateful. That's y'all problem.
They got a Super Bowl, World Series. It's not enough.
Y'all niggas ain't grateful. It's like y'all need
cool.
like
I just want to see the Sixers win a ring in my lifetime. I've seen the Phillies. I've seen the Eagles. I haven't seen the Flyers yet, but those are the last two teams.
At least the Flyers made a Stanley Cup in your lifetime.
That is true. That is.
They lost. I think they lost to the Blackhawks, right?
Yeah, I mean the Sixers also made it to the finals too. Like, they need to win one.
And getting back to the main subject at hand, like Chris Paul, he did what I thought he couldn't do.
Wow.
No said win. Like win. Like basically, yeah, y'all made, but win it. I'm basically saying this, right. like Chris Paul, he did something I thought that he couldn't do because I just knew that the Lakers were gonna beat them in the first round.
You're a hater. Hating on my boy CP3, man.
I just knew that the Lakers were gonna be, and I think the Lakers would have if Anthony Davis never got hurt. Let's be for real, they would have did it. And the Denver Nuggets, they would have gave them a much tougher series if Jamal Murray wasn't hurt.
Well, we love playing the what if game, but the reality is in the
and then if Kawhi didn't get hurt,
oh my god,
then who knows? They probably would have lost that too. So basically, Chris Paul and the Suns, they basically they're this year's Miami Heat in the sense that they had everything go right for them.
Wow.
Now that they're here, and the Milwaukee Bucks are not at full strength, they should win. Right?
I mean, last time I checked, the Suns beat a LeBron James. So
who's older?
Oh, so it's because he's older now. All right, cool. But if LeBron
without Anthony Davis.
Yeah, you see, David, you coming around. You see my point. Yeah. Every team that the Suns beat, their opponent was missing a key player, a key piece, an all-star caliber player. It's not their fault.
It's a damn if you do, damn if you don't situation. Because if they played the Clippers, like, they would have lost. You'd be like, oh, so y'all lost to a team without Kawhi Leonard, or y'all lost.
I for damn sure would have said that.
It's a damn if you do, damn if you don't situation.
Yeah, I gotta give you that.
Like,
I definitely would have
lost to a
David, stop flip flopping, bro. What are you, a Gemini? Shit. Nigga, stay flip flopping. One minute he agree with me. The next minute, like, yeah, I can see his point too. Like,
I mean, 100%.
I gotta be real. What Noel said, like, if the Suns would have lost, everybody would have been saying, "Oh, you can't beat a Kawhi team," and that's 100% accurate.
Well, I'm gonna say that it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation once again because Giannis right now is hurt. This who knows like his staff. I think Giannis he will play in this series because like you cannot let opportunity like this pass you by, especially this year. But Grant, he most likely he's not gonna be 100% if he does play. But the Suns they should win. I'm gonna say right now they should win. I expect them to win. And if they don't, I'm gonna flame them. Especially Chris Paul.
Of course, you're waiting on my boy CP3 downfall. Chris Paul, I'm
waiting praying on their downfall.
Chris Paul, I'm gonna let you know you are always welcome to the Out of Bounds podcast. We will not have Ladale on if you come on. It's okay. You can lace the whole tuxedo with some Jordans. It's all good. It's all love over here. We don't know did you take Ladale's girl? We don't know. Let us know. I want to hear the story. Because for some reason he hates your ass, and I don't know why.
Or better yet, send him a front row ticket and then drop 50 on
that would be mad and sick if he gives us courtside tickets to Sun game. Ladale just can't
drop 50.
I wouldn't care. I honestly wouldn't care. Y'all know how it was when it came down to the BET Awards. Like I'm not gonna care about that shit.
You don't.
Okay. I should not have said that on camera. My bad.
We're not doing I forgot we you don't understand. I'm a college student, right? I'm 21. Kill for the opportunity to go to LA. And this man's like,
BET, I did not mean that. I did not mean that.
I'm just too tired. The fact that this man said, I'm just too tired to go to the past. If the Grammys call and you say again, I'm just too tired to go to the. I'm flipping a desk because let me just use your email, bro. Because I will go. I would take my savings. I don't care about school. I will miss summer classes. I don't care. I'm taking this advantage, bro. I'm not doing this.
Chris Paul, if you're watching, if you're listening, even if you're listening to Chris Paul on Spotify, Google Podcast, iHeartRadio, whichever, or Podbean, whichever platform you prefer, or here on the Tug Podcast Network on YouTube, CP3, like, do not let my opinions of you basically teeter you from like supporting my fellow two co-hosts over here. You know, these two young lines, these two young bulls.
What you did to him.
You know, so you can leave me out of it, but support my guys, CPG. And also for you guys that's checking out this video, please feel free to support us as well by liking this video, sharing this video, commenting on this video, and also subscribing to the channel. Last week, a few of you guys was supporting me in my argument in regards to Becky Hammond. You know, so I'm interested in seeing which way you guys gonna lean this week in regards to this discussion.
We gotta set up an email. We gotta get some fan mail. I want some fan letters. I want some fan opinions. I want to hear this because I think this.
Yeah, that'd be dope. But just if you have any questions in regards to Chris Paul, I will not read those shits on it. Just saying.
We're reading them. Please ask questions about Chris Paul. We will read them.
No, it's not a person against Chris Paul. Like Chris Paul, like I'm rooting for you, which is why I'm not gonna make a prediction for this series because I think that you guys should win because you're the healthier team. But please be sure, like if you guys fail, I will be one of the first to flame you. Kind of like how Skip Bayless would do with LeBron James. So it just is what it is. But with that said, let's get into the 2-minute drill. NCAA athletes are now able to get paid. How are we feeling about this? Do you feel like it's long overdue, or do you feel like this is something that's gonna basically ruin college sports?
Long overdue. I think it's long overdue because the only reason why I say it's long overdue just because these schools for so long have capitalized on these athletes and never compensated them legally over there, whatever. They never compensated them for it because a lot of these kids, I mean, especially nowadays with social media and that being a big stream, that can be a big stream of revenue for a student athlete or just a teenager in general. For sure, it's long overdue because you just know the YouTuber destroying lost his scholarship. And now he's a full-time YouTuber, makes a lot of money, and he played at UCF. So it's like definitely long overdue. I think they need to get their bread. Now, if you're a D3 bench player, I don't know if you gonna see
I don't
any bad.
expect to be getting paid in.
Yeah, I don't know if you
Yeah.
see any bags like that. You know what I'm saying? But
Okay,
if you-
but speaking of that, because it's basically college football and college basketball that makes the money for the NCAA.
yeah.
Now, should like collegiate wrestlers, collegiate hockey players, collegiate lacrosse players, collegiate soccer players, should they have access to the collegiate baseball as well? Should they have access to like the same pay wage as?
Yeah,
I wouldn't
because
say the same bag because
yeah,
they
they
do.
should.
I believe they do compete in the Olympics. So I mean that could take a
I mean,
turn
I
in
can only
it, but
speak for I
no.
can speak for lacrosse though. I mean, I can only speak for lacrosse and other sports. Like, I think the rule is like endorsements and stuff. So, like, if you're a really good, like, one of the top players in the lacrosse, like D1 lacrosse, and you get like a Warrior sponsorship or like a stick sponsorship or a cleat sponsorship, then yeah, like, I feel like for every sport, there's like a specific thing you can kind of get an endorsement for, a little sponsorship for. I think it's possible. Like, if you're a gymnast and there's like a certain uniform they use and you get sponsored by it, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? But
Hold up. All right, let me make sure I
that's
got
not
this
me.
right.
It's the
Are
Dream
you saying
Chasers.
lacrosse
Dream Chasers Part 2.
should be making the same bag as football players? Because I've only played a lacrosse game one match, and that shit was trash.
Wait, was it trash or were you trash?
Exactly, because I was all
No, the video game was trash.
Oh, you talking about a video game? You think you talking about real life?
That's a real thing. Man, it's
I'm just saying, I found it in a Walmart bargain bin for $5, and
well, yeah, the video game.
Of course, the game's gonna be trash, bro. We're thinking you talking about the real shit.
Exactly. I'm like, dog, what are you talking about?
That's like me saying that. Oh, like I play NHL and it was trash because I don't know how to play the game or some shit.
Yeah, so they shouldn't be getting a bag. Not on the same level as
based off of a video game.
Yeah, a video game where I don't even think they had the likeness correct. But I couldn't verify that because I don't.
What college game has the likeness correct? It's nothing but numbers.
I don't know. Whatever gets us NCAA 2022, 23, I don't care.
Yeah,
it's been so long since we had an NCAA.
Or it's been since NCAA 14. That came out in 2013. But I'm excited for NCAA football 23, like or wherever this shit comes out. Like that's basically what I'm looking forward to.
That's all I want. That's all I want. That's all I want.
So I'm happy that collegiate athletes are getting the bag right now. It's just that now I actually saw on IG somebody made like a great point for like, okay, so what does this mean for the scholarships then?
They still get scholarships.
Ooh,
but
yeah.
should they though? Yes. But should they? Because now they get like most likely they can be getting like endorsement deals. Like there's some
see the endorsement deals, like the Nike deal, that's for like y'all said, that's like for the top 1% of students. Like, of course, like if Zion was still playing in college, like right now, you talk about Mikey Williams, Amara Bradley, the young kids coming up that are about to be in college. Yeah, those are for those kids. This rule is for kids that have the ability, like because Mikey Williams was in an OVO lookbook for an OVO catalog for one drop. He modeled for Drake's OVO brand. You know what I'm saying? So this rule allows those kids that has that reach to be able to do that and not be penalized, like the LaMelo Balls and whatever. Because LaMelo Ball didn't go to college specifically because he had his own shoe and he couldn't. So this rule isn't for some Tyler who plays at Texas Christian State Southern. No, this is for kids that are like the 1% that have that reach and ability to do that and making it, I wouldn't say legal because it wasn't a law, but making it okay for them to do that and not be penalized. That's what the rule is. But they still deserve, because there's a lot of kids that not getting endorsements, and they gonna need that scholarship. And if they get money from the booster or whatever, then that's it's okay for them to get money from a booster or whatever.
And that's another thing too. Like now, my university might hurricane because now they could go crazy because now like these kids could get the bag now. So Uncle Luke, I know you're out there in Miami now. You could get these kids, hook them up, whatever the case may be, kind of like how you did like H-Town back in the day. get them some houses, get them some cars and all that. Like, it's lit now. It's lit now.
Like my friend, it's lit. It's lit. But yeah, I mean, I love the rule. I respect it.
Yeah. I feel like, no, you made a valid point. I feel that's a good way to end this segment. I definitely agree with that. So now we're supporting the show, ladies and gentlemen. It's about time for us to plug ourselves on the way out. So let everybody know where they can find you on social media.
You see it down below. Noel also on everything. Photography stuff coming soon. Getting back my journalist bag. Interviews coming soon. Off the rack. We got
Off
some
the
things.
racks. Finally go do something with that.
We finally gonna do something off the rack. Off the rack coming soon. Tyler the Creator album review. Call Me If You Get Lost album review, because we don't have a music podcast right now, so y'all gonna have to read about it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have that stuff come through. So yeah, that's about it.
Dominic gonna be plugging Eminem and all these little shit you listen to.
So we're gonna talk about how Eminem's album is the best. Like,
my man said Nas's Illmatic album was average or mediocre. Like, I felt so offended.
No.
I was so
I
offended.
did say something along those lines. But exactly what I was. I said it wasn't as good as I thought it would be.
Bro, that album is a
that
classic
sounds like
from top
it's a
to
you
bottom.
problem.
That shit's a classic from top to bottom, bro. I don't know what the hell you talking about.
Yeah, I think it was just like hearing everybody say, "Oh, it's the top album," and it just got in my head. But it was good. But I just prefer his Nasir album, produced by Kanye West.
Irrelevant. Anyways, Ladale. Y'all plug y'all stuff. This man said that. This man said Illmatic was never mind. Plug y'all stuff.
Yeah, nothing else matters after that. Like,
nothing, just plug your stuff, bro.
Diamond, plug yourself.
I mean, you can find my
that
social
shit.
media down below. Because
All
y'all
right,
taking
tell
it
them what
wrong.
it-
I said it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. That's not to say it was bad or anything like that.
Bro, you said the album was average.
I prefer alternative rap. A Tribe Called Quest. Now those albums.
I fuck with Tribe Called Quest.
Oh,
But Illmatic is right along those lines of like a Tribe Called Quest though.
I just didn't get that same vibe.
How many times did you listen to it?
I usually give an album 3 songs before I turn it off.
Okay, so 3 songs. So you did not like Represent?
Ooh.
You did not like New York State of Mind?
New York State of Mind was good. New York State of Mind was good.
One Time for Your Mind?
No.
Anyway, you guys can find me on.
It's not a bad album. It just wasn't what I was expecting. That's all.
Anyways, plug y'all stuff. My head.
Y'all can find me at Ladale the Fashionista on IG. But I would most truly appreciate you guys if you enjoyed this week's episode. Please like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel if you enjoy what you heard from your boys. Also, check out Tuck Talk. The Gaming Chairs on Twitch. I tried the Twitch stream last week. I kind of had some technical difficulties, so we're going to be back up and running with that this Thursday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So look out for that on Twitch. And then be on the lookout for our interviews. Our next up series, we got Outta Racks coming up soon with our boy Noel Austin. And yeah, man, so that's just about it. So we hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode. We catch you guys, as always, same time, same place, every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And hope you guys enjoy the NBA Finals. And also let us know down in the comment section below as far as who you guys think will win this upcoming series.
If y'all thought Illmatic was okay, let me know.
Oh my God!
Nobody's gonna let you know that because you're the only one. You're the only one. You're the only one.
Let me know I'm not alone out here.
You're the only one. All right, take care, y'all.
You're gonna have to talk.